All right, so let's talk about She-Hulk Attorney at Law Episode 2. Episodes air every Thursday morning or Wednesday night, depending on how you want to frame the time, on Disney Plus. And I want to talk about the next episode. So episode 1, I had a lot of fun with it. It was good. And episode 2, well, first of all, I want to say that I really do appreciate that this show is smaller 30-minute episodes instead of the longer 1 hour, 1 hour, 6 episodes, or, like shows, because smaller bite-sized episodes, granted, it's what most of us grew up with television, because if you remember back in the day, almost every TV show was 30 minutes long, and it wasn't until the advent and the evolution of television when it came to having more serious serialized TV that we got shows that were longer than an hour. Usually you had 30 minutes or an hour. And with a show like this that has kind of a lighter tone, a lot of it is really riding on Tatiana Maslany's charisma, and she has tons of it. She was a great casting choice to play She-Hulk. I like the 30-minute format for this show better. WandaVision had that too, but WandaVision was also supposed to be a somewhat of a satire / parody of sitcoms, situation comedies throughout the years. This could actually be considered a superhero sitcom, like on its own, not just a satire of it. So having it be 30 minutes, I think, really, really works. And I think it makes it easier to watch. Yeah, there's more episodes and we have to wait longer for a conclusion, but it doesn't matter. I think it works better for She-Hulk to do it this way. A big theme for episode 2 is the consequences of being She-Hulk, because not only is she now called She-Hulk, which she didn't really like being called, but she's also now become this, the liability. She actually ends up getting fired from her law firm before the opening title screen even happens. That's like where what sets the plot in motion, is that she ends up getting let go. And because if you remember, in episode 1, she wound up having that big skirmish in the courtroom, and even though she saved lives, it was declared a non-trial. She says liability. It's a corporate decision, but also it's interesting that in the world of superheroes, in a world where the Avengers have saved humanity multiple times, they can allow this to happen. That seems a little weird, but hey, it is what it is. One of the highlights of this episode, too, is the scene where she goes to have dinner with her family. This was really well done, very funny. It kind of reminds me of a superhero version of that scene from The Nutty Professor where he brings Jada Pinkett home to his family. I mean, it didn't have the vulgar farting humor, but it was very funny. The family's very quirky. It was cool. Like, that was a fun little scene. The thing about this show is I try to have a good time with it, and most of the time it does give me a good time. Like, the head writer is trying to make it more fun than serious, and it's cool to have mixes. I think sometimes the MCU has tonal problems, like Thor Love and Thunder had that, but if they're going to make this go more in the lighthearted route, and then you could take something else, like say Moon Knight, for example, and make that darker, I'm okay with that too, Now again, I as of this video, I still have not seen all of Moon Knight yet, or Miss Marvel, but that is, you have my word, that's on the docket. I will be covering it when I see it. You have my word on that, and I'm not going to break my word to y'all. I will see it. I mean, I have to, because it's part of the Marvel story, so it has to be a thing. Plus, we know that Miss Marvel will absolutely tie into Phase 4. Moon Knight, I'm not so sure. I'm sorry, Phase 5. I'm not so sure about Moon Knight and what's going to happen with that character, but for sure, Phase 5 is going to have Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel with the Marvel show, so for sure, that's something that has to be seen for context purposes, She ends up getting hired in the rival law firm that she was competing against in the previous episode, and they want her to be She-Hulk, and it's just, the way they shot this is very quick, it's very fast, and I liked it quite a bit. But then it gets even better. So she ends up taking a case that she did not want to take originally because of obvious history. She ends up taking a case as an attorney for Tim Roth returning to reprise his role as the Abomination. This was awesome. I was so happy to see him. I love Tim Roth. I mean, he's in so many of my favorite films, multiple Quentin Tarantino movies. He's absolutely one of my favorite actors. Rob Roy, Lie to Me. And I mean, obviously I knew he was going to be in this show because he was listed in the cast when it first came out, but I didn't think it was going to be this early. And I love the fact that the She-Hulk, the cousin of his mortal enemy, has to, for her job, represent the Abomination. He talks about these pen pals that he's made, these soulmates, and that I think is a teaser for something to come in the future. I'm not sure what. I mean, I know some people are going to think it's a Thunderbolt. I'm not sure about that. I don't think it is, but it could just be a throwaway line. But when I heard that, I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like it's going to be a teaser for some new characters or some returning characters to appear. I would love it if Baron Zemo had a scene with the Abomination. That would be awesome. But good stuff. I mean, he's got so much charisma, man, that seeing him here finally is nothing but a plus. Nothing but a thumbs up for me when it comes to that aspect of the episode. And I'm excited to see where this goes. So before she takes the case, she has to go call Bruce and see if it's okay with him. They have a good exchange, and he pretty much tells her, like, yeah, you're going to take the case anyways, right? So that happens. And then they have this interesting scene where, because she asks him, are you going to come to L.A.? And he's like, nah, I'm kind of caught up in something right now, not for a while. And it turns out he's in space. So is this going to tie into Secret Invasion? Is it going to tie into the Marvels movie? That's interesting. That's interesting. They have to have something planned here, I would assume, about the future of Hulk. One thing I did find funny, and this has to be done on purpose, is when she asked him about Abomination, he's like, oh, that fight was so long ago, I'm a completely different person. Now, I took that as an Easter egg, because he goes, a completely different person, literally. I took that as an Easter egg, because in that Hulk film, it was Edward Norton that played Bruce Banner, not Mark Ruffalo. And I feel like that was done on purpose to kind of reference the fact that it's a different actor. One of the only times I can even think of where they changed actors in the MCU. Probably Red Skull was the second time when he appeared in Endgame. But that to me, you know, I like that line. I liked it because it's true. Like, he's not going to hold a grudge forever. And I guess Abomination wrote him a nice haiku and they squashed it. So she got his approval. She's going to represent him in court. And that's where the story's going to go from here on out. So overall, I actually liked episode 2 more. 1 had more action and, you know, more of the origin story. Episode 2, I think, in my opinion, was a bit more entertaining and is kind of going to start to begin the story. Now the actual, we got the origin out of the way. Now we have to actually begin the story of what's going to happen with the She-Hulk and where this story goes. But I liked it a lot. I really liked the show so far. It's a welcome breath of fresh air, but I wonder if I would like it as much if I had seen Marvel, Miss Marvel or Moon Knight, only because I was already burnt out from those, and I went to this one. Would I have felt more burnout to where it would have kicked in here? I guess everything happens for a reason, so it is what it is. What'd you think? Let me know. I'll see y'all soon.